What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Past Gas. We're on video, as you probably know by now. We are back on YouTube. Thanks to all you guys who requested it. This week, we're talking about the Paris-Dakar Rally, an episode that you guys have been requesting for a long, long time. Super interesting story how this race came to be. A fair amount of people definitely getting injured, and just one of the most insane accomplishments in motorsports. So, without further ado, here is the Paris-Dakar Rally.
I don't even want to be on the same side of the sidewalk as teenagers. They scare me.
They will beat you up.
They will.
Have you ever had the teenagers that do the wheelies on the bikes go in front of your car and then dip right before they hit it?
That's sick.
There's a... No, it's not. It's
That's
annoying
sick.
as hell. There's a gang of kids in my neighborhood that all do wheelies.
Are they a gang, Joe?
Yeah, the ghetto bird was circling, yelling at them the other day.
Here's the thing, though. I think if you were their age, you'd be totally into that.
Oh, I used to do the invisible rope trick across the road. You ever do that?
Okay,
No.
yeah.
You stand on the opposite side of the road from your friend, and when a car comes, you pretend to pick up a rope and pull it taut, and the car stops, and then you just run away.
That's funny.
So were you in a gang of kids doing that?
Yeah, was that a gang, Joe?
I did. I got arrested 5 times before I was 18. So
That's sick.
not official gang member, but got some priors.
That's tight. Yeah, not an official gang member, though, Joe, are you?
No,
Just
I
like
would
those
never.
kids aren't gang members.
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably.
I said a gang of kids. I say a gang of chip, Pringles. I'm holding a gang of Pringles in my
I
hand.
was drinking a gang of coffee
Yo.
right now.
You're in a Pringle neighborhood.
The other day, so Riley and I aren't eating bad food right now. And
I'm eating real good food.
And I'm trying to exercise and not eat sugar and just go with it. But we were saying the other day, it would be so sick if, just Pringles were really good for you.
Yeah.
And you go to the doctor and he's like, how many Pringles are you eating? I don't know, none. It's like, you need to eat a can a day in bed. The dentist.
Yeah.
Is James, I'm telling you, all right, you need to eat a half a can of Pringles in bed.
Not a short can, a half of a tall
real
can.
tall
boy.
from
Tall boy.
the store,
Yeah.
tall can of Cheesums Pringles.
Cheesums? Is that a flavor?
It's the name of the cheese ones. Yeah, Cheesums. Cheesums Pringles after you brush your teeth in bed while you're watching the Babadook.
The Babadook.
The Babadook.
Do you have a TV in your room?
Yeah.
How's that affecting your sleep?
It's great. My sleep's too good right now.
Yeah.
But it's way harder to wake up because I'm so comfy.
Mm-hmm.
Once I wake up, I'm good, but I'm just so comfy and snuggy.
Do you have a nice bed?
I do.
Welcome
Although the
to
middle of
Mattress
it's
Talk.
sinking.
Mine too. My side of the bed is definitely, I got it 5 years ago, so it's definitely indented. And I think
Do
that's
you-
messing with my back a little
Do you
bit.
ever
Me
rotate?
too.
Yeah.
You guys got to rotate your mattress.
Well, the middle of my bed is broken.
So I got to give James my mattress and I got to get his.
No.
Yeah, we got to rotate mattresses.
Yeah.
Dude.
All right, let me put it in terms of cars. You know how you rotate your tires?
Yeah.
I follow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're speaking my
Now
language.
switch tires with mattress.
Oh, and my body is the engine.
Yeah. I think I'm going to like it here.
Let's get into it.
At over 3 million square miles, the Sahara is the largest desert in the world. About a quarter of that area is covered in sand dunes as high as 1,000 feet, and the rest is just as inhospitable. Barren, gravel-covered plains, rocky mountains, and plateaus that jut up out of nowhere. Average daily highs of 100 degrees Fahrenheit and overnight lows that plunge below freezing. It's in this extreme environment that motorcycle racer Thierry Sabine found himself lost in January of 1977. The Frenchman was competing in the Abidjan-Nice Rally, a race that began in the capital of the Ivory Coast and its finish line in the French Riviera. But Sabine had strayed far from the route, stranded somewhere in the Libyan desert, a world away from the Mediterranean climate of Nice. Without any water and food, Sabine sucked on small stones to keep his mouth moist and waited for rescue. After 3 long days, Sabine was airlifted out of the race by the race organizer. But the ordeal had changed Sabine. On his return trip to France, an idea began to crystallize in his mind. One rally, to rule them all. How did Thierry Sabine's near-death experience lead to the most infamous off-road race in the world? What about the endurance rally's extreme risk attracted drivers, adventurers, and even celebrities eager to cheat death? And why, after many years, many deaths, and a couple continents later, does the race continue to be a challenge for those who go and a dream for those who stay behind? Today on Past Gas, it's the history of the Paris-Dakar Rally.
Past Gas Podcast. It's about cars, it's not about forts.
Big thank you to our sponsor this week, Valvoline Motor Oil. Extended protection, full synthetic, high mileage is Valvoline's best performing motor oil ever for engines with more than 75,000 miles. Be like us at Donut and put Valvoline in your car today. You can get it wherever you get your fine motor oil. Valvoline Motor Oil. Thank you.
Big thank you to our sponsor this week, Turo. Turo is the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. With Turo, you can book any car you want, wherever you want it, from a community of local hosts across the US, UK, Canada, and Australia. Find your drive. Forget boring rental cars at Turo.com. Thank you, Turo.
Dude, a challenge for those who go and a dream for those to stay behind is a quote, ladies and
pretty
gentlemen. Good. That's sick.
That's poetic.
That's poetic. Hey, up, dude. Again, race car drivers say the coolest stuff. It's because they're close to God.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm really craving some stones to suck on.
Oh, yeah.
Sucking on them. Sucking on
Some chili stones.
To keep my mouth moist.
Sucking on chili stones to keep my mouth moist. Little ditty about Jack and Diane. Our young audience is going to love this. But the other day I was thinking about John Cougar Mellencamp.
Yeah.
Is he sang that song?
No, I think it's John Cougar Concentration Camp.
John
is who sang that.
on.
That's a punk band, by the way. I didn't make that joke up.
Yeah. That song is the Mellencamp version of like Bruce Springsteen's The River.
I always thought it was Bruce Springsteen singing.
I thought
No,
so too.
it's
I
not.
didn't want to interject.
The Bruce Springsteen version of like Teenage Love is like, and for my 18th birthday, I got a union card and a wedding coat.
She was 14.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what, like, High on Fire or something? What's that song?
Oh, I'm on fire.
I'm on Fire is like kind of predatory. If
Is
you
it?
listen to it. Yeah. Hey, little girl, is your daddy home?
Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? I'm on fire. Please
and you're
call.
also 14.
Please call 911. Oh, I'm on
911.
fire.
It's wildfire.
No, it's I'm on fire.
I'm on fire.
Oh, wild. Speaking of fire,
Yeah, we
guys,
got
we're
some
all wearing the
stuff.
same shirt today.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
How'd that
After
happen?
nearly 4 years on the air, Past Gas finally has merch.
Right. It's right here. Wink Wink Nation.
Donut has had
Here.
a pretty boom in merchandise operation for
Take a look at that, Joe.
the last few
Oh,
years.
let me
and
inspect
We
this.
are now excited to offer for the very first time Past Gas shirts.
Yes, for the listener that can't see the shirt, it's a Wink Wink Nation shirt with a
We'll say
European
roadster.
Japanese roadster on
It's
it.
not allowed to be a Mazda Miata.
Don't say
I didn't say it was. I said it's not allowed to
Stop
be.
saying
Don't
the
even.
name.
All I'm saying is it's not allowed to be one.
And then it says Wink Wink Nation in the style of kind of like a Volkswagen ad, Porsche ad maybe.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's not a
It's not,
European
don't-
sports
yes.
car ad
Yeah.
in the style of that. It's got some more text down below.
It's really cool
It's
shirt. I
really
really,
great.
really like it a lot.
It's really cool.
And then we
and
also
it's
have-
got a poster of the same
Oh, yeah,
design.
you can get it as a poster.
You can get it as a poster. We've got a bunch of stickers as well. James,
We got
I'll
a
let you
whole
read those
sticker
off.
pack. KCAR 109.5, The Car.
Our fictional radio station.
Fictional radio station that this podcast airs on. We got an exclusive to this drop Donut OG logo sticker, which I really like. It's kind of like wild.
It's like
drawn.
a little
Is it?
3D.
It's a little.
Oh.
It's like got a nice drop
Oh,
shadow,
it's
but
like
it's a little more hand drawn.
It's like hand drawn looking.
yeah,
That's
and
cool.
then a Wink Wink Nation sticker, same
another
design
one.
as the shirt and the poster. Another KCAR globe sticker, and then my favorite one of the pack: pass, gas, or cash. Nobody rides for
That's
free.
pretty good.
Nice. I love that.
Pretty good. So if you want to show everybody your support or that you are a fan of Pass Gas and you want to do it in a way that makes you and or your car or your bedroom wall look cool, then go to donutmedia.com, pick yourself up some. If these sell good, then we'll make more and more. Maybe there's a "Give Me Back My Son" shirt
Yeah.
down the road, or maybe there's a "Keep It Juiced" mug in the works. We
You
don't
also
know.
had like some sort of opposing faction to Wink Wink Nation that I can't remember. Oh, Blank Blank Army.
Blink Blink Army. Also, this is an episode that you guys have been requesting for a very long time.
I
Dakar
can't
Rally.
believe we haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
I thought for sure we had, but maybe it's because we've mentioned it a lot in other episodes, maybe. But I'm actually really excited to talk about this. We
did the Camel Challenge.
Camel Challenge.
We did Dakar, maybe up to speed.
We've done a ton of videos on Dakar.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done a lot of Dakar videos.
Dakar
Yeah.
videos. Maybe it wasn't up to speed.
Almost every podcast has been about Dakar.
Dakar,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some
So-
license plates, some about Dakar.
Yeah, some Dakar, some to trucks.
The truck rally.
Buy the merch. Wink Wink Nation. Rise up.
Let's get into the story.
Donutmedia.com.
All right, so this story starts with one man, Thierry Sabine. Sabine was born on June 13th, 1949, to a wealthy family in an affluent city just west of Paris, France. His father, Gilbert, was a dentist, and his mother, Andrea, was a Parisian antiques dealer.
Oh, see, a Parisian antiques dealer is much different than most other antiques dealers. Like,
It's like 600 years old.
yeah, Parisian antiques is like
Yeah.
antiquities.
They're like, this is the guillotine
This is
that
the
killed.
Marie Antoinette.
Yeah.
Jerry's friend did not know what a guillotine was and was like, BS. If you ask 5 people in your office what a guillotine is, they're not going to know what it is. And literally everyone knew.
It's those
what
really
it
red
was.
cherries that you put in Shirley Temple.
Terry's interest in racing likely stemmed from his father, who participated in international rallies during Terry's childhood in the 1950s. I would concur. That would probably be passed down. Once Terry began racing himself, his father would even join him as a co-driver.
that's cute.
Isn't that nice?
That is cute.
Terry, for his part, was a pretty successful driver. In the 9 years following 1969, he wrapped up 30 national wins, including the 1974 GT French Championship. He competed 3 times in the 24 Hours of Le Mans from 75 to 77, with his best finish in 13th place in 76, where he drove a Porsche Carrera RSR. But racing wasn't enough for Terry, so in 1975, he put together his first race. As a marketing and advertising major, Terry had been working as a press officer for Les Touquets, a small beach community in northern France. The winter months were pretty dead in the tourist town, so Terry got creative and decided to organize a motorcycle race on the beach. That sounds sick, like Race of Gentlemen style. The race was called Enduro du Touquet, now known as Enduro Palais du Touquet. The race still occurs over 3 days every February on France's Opal Coast, but this was just a stepping stone for what Terry would do next.
During the 1977 Abidjan-Nice rally we talked about in the opening, when Terry was rescued by helicopter from an almost certain death, the aircrew reportedly told him, from now on, start your new life. They meant that could be taken in a nice way or a mean way, depending on the tone. Like it could be like, from now on, start your new life.
Or like, from now on,
Start your new life. I bet the best. Terry agreed and later wrote, the desert deeply marked me and developed in me a very particular instinct and sensitivity, and above all, insurmountable desires to return. But since then, never again alone.
there's something magical about the desert.
Oh, yeah.
It
It's a
changes
sea
people.
of sand.
It's great.
Oh, and it changes a lot. Yeah.
We should go out to Palm Desert sometime.
We should. When we were,
Do some peyote.
I was in southern Utah with Matt's off-road recovery, and we were on the dunes, and we were just parked there, and there was wind going, and he was like, if you left this car here for 2 days and you came back, it would be gone.
That's crazy.
Like just in a park. That was like literally a park. We could see the road from where we were. And he's like, yeah, look under the thing, like under the tires. He's like, you can already see it. It's starting to just like eat the car.
Is like quicksand or?
No, it's just because the way
the weight of
wind works, if it's windy, it'll go like all around the car.
And buries it?
So it'll blow everything around the car.
And
it
then
can't blow the
make
car, so it just blows all the sand away from the car.
Yeah, it can't blow a car for sure.
No, I can't blow a car.
Yeah.
Can you?
I can blow a car, Greg. Can you milk me?
Can you blow the car? You can blow the car
You
by
can
losing
blow
it.
the car. Yeah, if you cold pull, you can blow the car. Too much boost, you blow the car.
Yeah. If you lose the race.
You blow the car.
Dakar.
Dakar. Yeah, you blow
Dakar.
Dakar.
Blow the car.
Terry wanted to bring the masses to race through the Sahara, where they could test their vehicles as well as themselves. He immediately sprung into action to make his dream a reality. In less than a year, Terry secured funding for the race by bringing on a company that made fruit juice beverages called Oasis.
Ooh.
Perfect.
Probably tastes great.
Wish you would step back from that road.
That's not Oasis.
That is Third Eye Blind.
That's Third Eye Blind.
I don't want to be.
No, that's Third Eye Blind. But that's the wrong lyrics to the same
my
song you were
God.
singing. Team passing down the hall, faster than a cannonball. Where were you while
Sucking
we
down
were getting
chili
high?
dogs.
Oh,
Oasis. Thus, the first Paris-Dakar Rally was called the Oasis Rally and began September 26, 1978, in Paris's Place du Trocadero. From there, competitors would make their first stop in Marseille, where they caught a boat to Algeria. Then they'd continue through Algeria, Niger, Mali, and Upper Volta, what is now Burkina Faso.
Upper Volta is a really cool name.
Mars Volta.
they make some crazy music over
Yeah.
there.
Dude, I love Mars Volta.
Yeah.
And Upper Volta, which is now known as Burkina Faso, with the Senegalese capital of Dakar as their final destination on January 14th. Overall, the race was just over 6,000 miles.
Wow, you'd have to take some time off to make that race. I'll
Yeah.
tell
Yeah,
you
you
what.
got to take some more time off than Jeremiah. The initial race, actually, more time off than Christina.
I'm gonna be,
Ooh.
producer Christina.
Yeah.
Loves her vacation. I'm gonna be taking some time off in the late summer though. I'm
I
gone a
know.
lot.
Yeah, me too. The initial race consisted of 8 stages. These stages ranged in length between roughly 260 miles and 1,473 miles. Once the drivers reached Africa, each individual stage would be hundreds of miles of specials. The quaint name Terry gave to the treacherous off-roading that inspired the race. Rocky terrain with high risk of puncturing a tire, towering dunes hundreds of feet tall, deep sand that made traction impossible, all part of what made a special.
You know what's interesting?
What?
The Atlas Mountains in Algeria are the same mountains in the Scottish Highlands and the Appalachians.
No kidding.
Yeah.
They're all they were all together in Pangea, huh?
And then
And
That's cool.
Now they never talk anymore because they're so far.
They
apart.
never talk.
we're so busy.
But then they both got banjos.
Yeah.
Ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Something about them mountains make you want to pluck that banjo.
Bang, bang, bang.
I'm freaking Bella Fleck over here. I just want to touch on something that James said in the Paris-Dakar Rally episode. There are no banjos.
I was like, are there Scottish banjos?
Probably.
Probably like lutes.
They're the
Devil
kind of,
went down to Glasgow.
they're the link because banjos are originated from Africa, but bluegrass music was developed by Scottish and Irish immigrants in the Appalachians. So that's the link.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Cool.
Adding to the difficulty before and after the race portion of each stage was an untimed transit stage that could often add hundreds of miles, which is like we're going from this part of the race to this other part of the race. Company move. If you're in the film industry, participants would have to travel to base camp from the finish line and travel back again the next morning from the base camp to that day's starting line. what a pain in the ass.
They still
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah. Despite being untimed, these additional miles put even more strain on competitors and their machines.
I think
their
it's like,
sanity.
you could argue like, oh, they should just like put the stages closer together. But I think part of the long-standing tradition of this race is that kind of like transit.
It's like
period.
you got to drive to the hotel.
Yeah. It's like drag week, where you're going to each track, and this is part of the reliability challenge.
It's an apt comparison.
Thank you.
This meant that even after a grueling day of racing, where racers traveled an average of 550 miles, it could be another couple hours before they'd even reach base camp. And then you got to shower. And then you got to talk to your significant other for,
I mean, you got
a
to
long
think
time.
about what's for dinner because there's no McDonald's
No
around.
McDonald's around. God forbid
McDonald's?
they put a McDonald's at Dakar.
No grimace shake.
Is that what
Similarly,
grimace sounds like?
Hey guys. Hey little girl.
hey little girl, I'm on fire.
Drink my blood.
I'm Grimace. Drink my blood. I'm Grimace. Drink my blood. Can I have fries with that? You have
It's
any
really
games?
good if you dip fries in my blood.
Dip your fries in my blood. Do you have any games on your phone? Can I borrow $80?
Do you have an iPhone 4 charger?
Similarly, competitors would have to be up before dawn just to make it to the beginning of the next stage, which began at sunrise.
I would have a tough time at this race. I like sleeping in. I like being in bed.
I'm a grumpy grump before sunrise. Clearly, there's little time for rest. And I was at these base camps that support teams could perform maintenance and repairs, something they would be prohibited from doing during the stages. Any breakdowns, engine trouble, flat tires, anything that occurred during the stage had to be fixed by the racers themselves or with an assist from fellow competitors.
That's so cool, man.
That's sick.
Well, it sucks that you have to do that, but yeah.
I
that's
mean,
also
but
very
yeah,
cool.
it's cool.
It's part of it. It's why it's cool.
What happens on track happens
Yeah.
on track.
Buy the ticket, take the ride.
Buy the ticket, take the ride, Greg. However, because very few factory teams participated in those early years, many amateurs acted as their own mechanics, spending the precious hours before dawn working on their vehicles. So you got to race, you got to drive to the camp, you got to fix your own car, you got to worry about dinner because there's no McDonald's, you drink a little Grimace blood. The brutal elements, stringent rules, and epic length of the race meant that few would ever finish. Of the 182 competitors who were at the starting line, only 74 vehicles reached Dakar. And the eventual winner almost didn't make it at all. French motorcyclist Cyril Neveu was in the lead with just one day between him and glory when the engine of his Yamaha XT500 blew up. However, with Yamaha being one of the few very well-financed teams in the early days of the race, mechanics were able to replace it overnight. This allowed Neveu to ride to victory the following day, despite not winning a single special. A newcomer at the time, Neveu would become one of the biggest names in the history of Paris-Dakar.
I can't think of Dakar without thinking of Neveu.
You think Dakar, you think Neveu.
It's just crazy to think that this was in the late 70s. You look at the bikes. That
Godfather had just come out.
Sure, yeah.
Have you seen The Godfather?
You just like the bikes today, the suspension is so good, the tire technology is advanced. They have like GPS on their handlebars and stuff. They're following waypoints and everything. And I'm just thinking of these old Yamahas that probably weighed a ton, didn't have that much power compared to what's available today. And their suspension, that's what I'm thinking about, is like that is taking such a toll on your body.
Yeah, I
going
feel
across the
bad for
desert
that, but
yeah.
Yeah, their forearms are probably so sore.
Or yoked.
Yoked,
Yeah.
like Popeye.
I want to
crazy.
double the size of my forearms.
Yeah,
How
I want
hard
to
is
double the
that?
size of my forearms.
Double just your forearms.
Yeah,
Um,
like Popeye style.
just get a kettlebell or something or dumbbell and just
yeah.
do that a lot.
What are you thinking,
Uh,
like
that'll
50
make
pound kettlebell?
50s,
That'll be
high,
heavy,
probably.
dude.
I'm trying to double my arms.
I know. Well, work up to it. Otherwise, you're gonna blow those arms out, dude.
Yeah, blow them out. And then we're going to have to lift your arms up like some sort of marionette monster.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Indeed for sponsoring this episode of Pass Gas. If you're hiring for your business on your own, you're basically trying to do the Tour de France in one of those penny farthing bicycles. It doesn't make any sense. You just need to breathe, take it easy, and keep it simple. If you're hiring, you need Indeed, and here's why. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring platform that can help you do it all. With Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job, according to Indeed Data US. One thing I really like about Indeed is the hiring platform. It just makes everything so simple, and candidates you invite to apply are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US Indeed data. Indeed's hiring platform matches you with quality candidates instantly. So start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/passgas. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/passgas. Indeed.com/passgas. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Big old thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode of Pass Gas. There's been a couple times in my life where I was uncertain of where I was going or what the next step was. And I got through it by taking a breath, figuring out what was important to me. Some people never get past that step though. And sometimes in life we're faced with tough choices and the path forward is not always clear. Some people have mentors, some people have to just figure stuff out for themselves. Whether you're dealing with decisions around career, relationships, or anything else, therapy helps you stay connected to what you really want while you navigate life so you can move forward with confidence and excitement. I think therapy is super beneficial for everyone, not just select few. And if you're new to therapy, I think BetterHelp is the best way to get into it. It's super easy. It's entirely online. You don't have to go to an office or anything. It's actually designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. So let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/passgas today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/passgas. Thanks, BetterHelp.
With its first iteration of success, the Oasis Rally was renamed the Paris-Dakar Rally, often shortened to Paris-Dakar and later just Dakar.
Like my cologne.
For its second running in 1980, factory teams began pouring resources into the race, welcoming big names like BMW, Lada, and Volkswagen. As Neveu sought to defend his title for Yamaha, his biggest challenger emerged riding a BMW 800 one Hubert Auriol. Auriol was an Ethiopian-born Frenchman nicknamed the African. His father, Jacques Auriol, he worked for the Ethiopian Railway, and his mother, Geneviève de Renonçon de Hauteville, that was his mom. If her lengthy name wasn't a giveaway, guys, she came from nobility. Auriol's roots on the continent meant that the Paris-Dakar Rally held a special place in his heart, and with that, he had a determination to beat Neveu. After 4 stages, Auriol had won 3 specials, and by halfway through the race, he was the motorcycle leader. However, during a transit stage, Auriol had issues with his gearbox and was forced to catch a ride on a bush taxi, a sort of bus/rideshare mashup thing common in sub-Saharan Africa.
I've ridden a bush taxi before.
While clever, completing part of the race in this local vehicle was grounds for his disqualification.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, because otherwise everyone would be riding bush taxis.
Remember when Max Verstappen rode a bush taxi in Sebring last year?
Yeah. The 1980 race also allowed for Italian mopeds to have a moment. Despite Paris-Dakar's growing legend and known difficulty, a French team of 4 led by Jean-Francois Piot entered on Vespas.
That's sick.
Miraculously, 23 days later, 2 of the 4 Vespa riders crossed the finish line in Dakar. Guys, hit that like button, hit that
really
subscribe
funny.
button if you want to see us do the Paris-Dakar on Coleman mini bikes.
We could do the Mint 400 on mini cool bikes.
If they can do it on
Vespa is pretty
Vespas.
serious. I want to do it on a Vespa. A Vespa is way different than a mini bike.
How so, though?
Way better seating position, way more powerful. It's like
A Vespa
there's
is
like
more
100
powerful than a Coleman?
There's like 150cc Vespas.
Really?
For sure, yeah. I would much rather ride a.
Okay, if you want to see James do that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
There's a
Let us
reason
know
that you
down
see
in the
Vespas
comments.
everywhere, and
Yeah.
you only see Coleman mini bikes in Inglewood.
If I had to do Dakar on a mini bike, I would pick the Mad Ass.
I would put some stubby tires on a Grom. I think I could do it.
You keep talking about Groms, and it's like you just want the danger of a motorcycle, but none of the outlaw coolness that comes with it.
Yeah. Well,
How do I be dangerous and still look like a clown?
all right. I feel attacked. The third Paris-Dakar Rally in 1981 was the biggest yet. On motorcycle, Hubert Auriol exacted revenge on Cyril Neveu by kicking him in the nuts.
Hell yeah.
And the African won his first Paris-Dakar. But the bigger story was the type of competitors that the race was beginning to attract. You had guys like Jackie Ickx and
we remember
Claude
him.
Brasseur making their Paris-Dakar debut in a Citroën CX. Jackie Ickx was already well known to the motorsports world. The Belgian Formula One driver had already won the 24 Hours of Le Mans 4 times and would go on to win 2 more. And Claude Brasseur? Well, he was a French actor who had also won 2 Césars, the French equivalent of an Oscar for Best Actor.
This is the first time we're talking about cars in Dakar.
Did you watch the Le Césars this year?
I am a César Award winner.
We're having a César's party, and we're going to get Little Caesars.
Nice. Little Caesars. That's how I cut my pizza.
Un Caesar's
Little
petit.
Caesars.
Do they call it Caesar's
Cut up
petit?
the little Caesars with the little Caesars.
You can go down to Caesar's petit.
We
and
are
get the
watching
pizza.
the Caesars. We got little Caesars. We're going to cut it up with little Caesars.
You know, pub style pizza with the little squares.
Little squares.
No one gets crust.
Similar to the Vespas a year prior, another unique vehicle debuted on the rally. 2 wealthy French guys, Jean-Christophe Pelletier and Thierry de Montcloget, teamed up to attack the desert in a Rolls-Royce.
Nice.
The idea began as a joke,
Nice.
like many donut videos.
Yeah.
Pelletier was tired of the expensive repairs his first-generation Rolls-Royce Corniche had required, and while out for drinks, the two riffed on trashing it in the Paris-Dakar Rally instead of pouring more money into it. I'm sure that was the cheaper option. Incredibly, once they sobered up, they still thought this was a good idea. But it wasn't that simple, James.
No, it never is.
To make it through the desert, the Rolls-Royce had to be modified. The Corniche was given a ladder frame chassis and a 4-wheel drive system. This is like a truck now.
Yeah.
Its transmission was swapped out in favor of one from a Toyota Land Cruiser, and its engine replaced with a 350 cubic inch Chevy Crate engine. And you hear the EG Civic firing up in the background. I don't know if the audience can hear that.
That's a K20, baby.
Yeah. So in addition to that Chevy Crate engine, a custom steel frame went up around the chassis, as well as fiberglass body panels that served to keep both the car's weight down and, most importantly, retain that classic Rolls-Royce Corniche
So
styling.
they didn't want to dump more money into this car that he drove around town, so they completely changed every piece of it.
Yeah.
All they did was like put a new chassis on it.
A new chassis and fiberglass body and a new engine and trans and make it 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Just literally
It's not like they're putting money into it.
touch every system of the car.
I'm guessing that they probably just took a truck chassis
Yeah.
and put that body on top.
Uh-huh.
Because that'd be way simpler than like.
But they
the
replaced
alternative.
a lot of it with fiberglass.
Yeah. As for the interior, they added bucket seats. They also took the AC out for weight considerations. And all told, very little remained of the original car except for superficial traces like its windows, bumpers, grille, and classy. I mean, it looks like a Rolls-Royce in a
It
truck.
does, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a Rolls-Royce. Keeping with its affluent theme, the team was sponsored by Christian Dior.
That's sick.
Hell yeah.
Or more specifically, Dior's new aftershave, Jules.
Yeah, so it says Jules down the side of
Yeah.
this mofo.
This gave the car its name, which was plastered all over it. Additionally, the well-off Frenchman stayed on brand by bringing champagne and gourmet food to drive the rally with them. That's pretty hilarious. The car held its own, but was disqualified when Pelletier and de Montcloget fixed the steering system in what was deemed an illegal repair. Despite this, the car finished the race unassisted, an accomplishment in its own right. And I don't know what kind of repair that was, but honestly, if you can just keep that thing going through the entire race, I feel like they should just let you do
This
it.
thing rules.
Like, what the heck? Who cares? Too many rules in racing.
Too many rules in racing. If you change the results of a thing after the fact, it's lame. 99.9% of the
Let the
time.
boys race.
That should never happen.
We talked
in
about that a
sports.
couple weeks ago on DRS after the Australian Grand Prix, which was a total disaster. Anyway, check that show out. James.
In 1982, the following year, Cyril Neveu returned to glory in the motorcycle class, giving Honda its very first victory.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Hubert Auriel had to withdraw over safety concerns with his BMW. The X-Brasseur duo won 7 stages in 1982 en route to a 5th-place finish. But the biggest story of Paris-Dakar's 4th edition was it being host to an international incident.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I know what this is. Yeah. Mark Thatcher, son of then UK Prime Minister, the Iron Lady herself, Margaret Thatcher, entered the fray driving a Peugeot 504. Brimming with confidence, he told the BBC before the race, "I've now raced in Le Mans and other things. This rally is no problem." But there was a problem. On day 3, he suffered a broken rear axle in Algeria. I just realized his mom is the Prime Minister of Great Britain and he's driving a French car,
I know. I thought that was kind of interesting.
which wouldn't have been a huge issue, but racers accidentally misreported the location of his breakdown, and when officials couldn't find him, he was declared missing. This thrust the race in international news with a manhunt that lasted 6 days.
What?
During this time, Mark Thatcher claimed he read the same book over and over to stay busy. That book was Green Eggs and Ham. Ultimately,
He read it like 400 times.
yeah,
He started rapping it.
yeah. Ultimately, he was spotted by an Algerian military aircraft 35 miles off course, which is not that far, but can be very far.
You're right, man.
You know?
6 days in the desert like that.
6
Good
days
stuff.
in the desert like that is a daddy home. The Algerian government absorbed much of the cost of the search and rescue, but left 1,784 British pounds to be sorted out by the Brits.
I like saying it 1.7
1.7 thousand British pounds. Fearing backlash over the use of public funds, the Conservative Prime Minister Thatcher covered the full cost of the remaining bill.
Yeah,
what
that's like
a mensch.
one paycheck for her.
Wow.
If that. With the benefit of hindsight, Mark Thatcher wrote in 2004 that he did absolutely no preparation for the Paris-Dakar, surprising nobody.
That's not a surprise at all.
Yeah. My mommy will figure this out.
I'm a little gent. I can figure it out. I wish I was a Nepo baby. For sure. I would be just so great at being wealthy. You know?
What would you
I'd-
do?
I
What's
would
your
have
first
killed
move?
people by now.
Oh.
For sure. Definitely.
Who?
At a party. Some rando.
Yeah.
Some poor kid at a party. At like a festival,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Like at Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
I would have had like a big mansion house for Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
Because I'd probably be into fish.
I'm so happy you're not super rich then.
Why?
Because I could have been offed.
Oh, yeah, you would have been up there. We've been friends for long enough. I mean, I wouldn't have killed you on purpose. I would have like wrecked a car.
Yeah.
You'd have been like, yeah, go parasailing, but then
Yeah.
not doing your preparation.
Yeah,
like
see,
Mark
I
Thatcher.
think like I wouldn't have like killed somebody, but it would have been like is this your fault?
Negligence.
Is this your fault?
Yeah.
And then they decide ultimately, no, it's not.
It would have been a manslaughter thing, and then you get like community service
Yeah.
Yeah.
for 1 hour.
Yeah. And
You
then
have to
I
clean your boat for 1 hour.
Yeah, how's this going to affect your streetwear brand?
Yeah. Yeah.
The 1983 Paris-Dakar Rally featured yet another celebrity debut, French singer Daniel Balavoine. Well, he took on his first Paris-Dakar driving a Datsun. Balavoine became a star when he was cast in the role of Johnny Rockford in the musical Starmania,
Oh, yeah.
a dark rock opera that takes place in a dystopic future. While unfamiliar to many English-speaking audiences, the musical is huge in France. That same year, with 2 races under his belt, the duo of Jackie Ickx and Claude Brasseur won their first Paris-Dakar in the truck class, driving a Mercedes G-Wagon, baby. Hubert Auriol won his first Paris-Dakar riding a motorcycle built by BMW. These victories were made all the more impressive by the massive sandstorm that hit the race during a stage in the Sahara Desert. The chaos caused 40 competitors to become lost. Some had to spend as many as 4 days getting back to the main route, which is still 2 days less than Mark Thatcher. While this seems like another badass phenomenon to add to the Paris-Dakar's mystique, this event would prove to be a tragic foreshadowing of the 1986 race.
The 1986 Paris-Dakar Rally was again hit with ferocious sandstorms. These were so bad that their usual safety air support was grounded. As the race went on, numerous competitors got stuck due to accidents caused by the blinding sand. Even worse, one motorcyclist was knocked unconscious and had to be carried to base camp, while another crash sent a rider into a coma and eventually his death. On the evening of January 14th, Thierry Sabine took to the skies by helicopter to search for stranded vehicles. He felt a responsibility to the racers and had previously said in an interview, quote,
10 minutes before they leave, the competitors don't know where they are going. But they know I will be there if they get into a mess. There is a complicity between them and me. Some of them even call me God, and I like that.
That really went off the rails.
Yeah, whoa. I mean,
Wow.
it started out kind of like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, he's trying to help people.
Okay.
And
Oh,
it's
he
like,
thinks
what?
he's God.
Terry was joined by 2 pilots, a French newspaper correspondent and French singer / previous race participant, the aforementioned Daniel Balavoine. Flying low to spot stuck vehicles, eventually high winds crashed the aircraft into a large sand dune, one that was nearly impossible to see in the darkness of night. The crash killed all 5 on board, including Thierry Sabine, the man the French press had nicknamed the megalomaniac of the sands.
Oh, God.
That's a cool nickname.
Why? They call me God, and I like that.
French actor and Jackie Ickx's co-champion Claude Brasseur said of the founder's death, quote,
Sabine was not just simply the head of the rally or the director of the race. He was someone whom one day you detested and the next you adored.
He also repeated a common criticism.
Sabine made the race too difficult, not just for others, but for himself as well. Sounds like Zach Redpath, director of High Low and some of our other videos. For some reason, just makes it really hard to do. You guys are sleeping on a cliff. What? Why? I don't know. Is it going to be in the video? No.
Probably not.
But you got to sleep on this rock.
There might be a 3-second shot of it.
I need a 3-second shot of you guys sleeping on this rock. So you got to sleep on this rock for the next
Really
8 days.
time lapse, so we need to sleep. You just sleep there all night.
Officials did not stop the race after the crash, believing this to be what Terry would have wanted. But they did cancel the stage the next day to add a day of rest to a race that normally only has 1. In the aftermath, Terry's dad, Gilbert, took over as director of the Paris-Dakar Rally. To make the crash even more tragic, Balavoine, the French singer, had used his fame and participation in the Paris Rally to bring attention to the plight of the impoverished areas in Sahara that lacked modern water pumps. He was only visiting the 1986 Paris-Dakar to assist in the delivery and installation of these water pumps. Family and friends of Daniel Balavoine set up the association Daniel Balavoine to install those water pumps in the Western Sahara. And these days, their mission has broadened to helping in the areas of education and food self-sufficiency.
Right, I like that.
Pretty awesome.
Hell yeah, Balavoine.
Terry's ashes were scattered by the Lost Tree, an acacia tree in the Sahara Desert, said to be among the most isolated in the world, with no other trees in the radius of hundreds of miles.
Nice.
That's crazy that's there. Today, the tree is also known as Thierry Sabine Tree and memorializes Sabine with a bronze plaque, just as he probably would have wanted.
Of course you'd want that. That's like some pretty appropriate.
Hey, this tree that's probably been here for hundreds of years, it's actually my
Let's call it General Sherman.
This guy died doing a hobby out here, so
And he was also kind of a jerk.
this is his.
That's I can't get over that quote, man. Some of them call me God.
And I like it.
That's
I
crazy.
like it.
Drink my blood.
And I like that. He said that.
Yeah.
Drink my blood.
Big thank you to our sponsor this week, Valvoline Motor Oil. Older cars need a motor oil that can handle the demands of aging engines. Once an engine passes 75,000 miles, the effects of wear, friction, heat, and deposits, they start to show. If engine parts aren't properly protected, they can wear down and lead to reduced gas mileage, lower horsepower, and a shorter engine life. And in worst case scenario, your engine could freaking blow up. Most motor oils claim they protect against wear, but in some cases, the protective film can be thin and uneven, providing inadequate protection. Luckily for you though, Valvoline Extended Protection Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil provides the ultimate protection for engines with 75,000 miles or more. This is Valvoline's best high mileage motor oil ever. It extends the life of your engine by providing the ultimate protection against wear, friction, heat, and deposits, and it's 10 times stronger against oil breakdowns. Guys, if you've been listening to the show for a long time, you know that I have Valvoline in all of my cars, and if you don't have it in yours yet, what are you doing? Get the best on the market. Get Valvoline today. Thank you very much, Valvoline, for sponsoring this episode of Past Gas.
Big thank you to our sponsor this week, Turo. Turo is the world's largest car sharing marketplace. With Turo, you can book any car you want, wherever you want it, from a community of local hosts. Browse a huge selection of vehicles for just about any occasion or budget across the US, UK, Canada, and Australia. You can book a spacious SUV or minivan for a family road trip. You can get a classic or luxury car for a special event, birthday, or holiday. I was in Texas a couple years ago. I rented a Jeep Wrangler. It was awesome. It was a two-door. It had a 6-speed manual transmission. It was great. Then when I was in Seattle, I needed something that could keep me out of the rain. I rented a Toyota Camry with Turo, and it was also awesome. I loved that thing. Find affordable economy cars if you're on a budget and just need to get from A to B. Or you know what? You can test drive that new electric vehicle you've had your eye on to see how it fits in your everyday life. Many Turo hosts can even deliver the car right to you. Every trip is backed by liability insurance. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Find your drive. Forget boring rental cars at Turo.com.
To address a gradual decline in people willing to risk it all for a race, the Paris-Dakar Rally was going to reimagine its route. In 1992, the race ran the length of the African continent and finished on the beaches of Cape Town, South Africa. There's a lot going on in 1992 in South Africa. In another first, GPS devices were also allowed.
That's something I didn't think of, but yeah, that would help so much.
Oh, yeah. So much help. Why haven't we been doing this all along? There was another massive change in 1992. Hubert Ariel, two-time motorcycle champion, would no longer compete on a bike due to a series of injuries. With age comes cage.
So this is crazy. In 86, he crashed and dislocated his shoulder. Then the next year, while racing Cyril, Ariel crashed and broke both of his ankles.
Ow. Ow.
Despite this, he still
I was
managed.
right.
Yeah.
Ow.
Ow. I can
Ow.
see that. You know, both pedals just
Yeah.
like...
Well, despite breaking his ankles, he managed to get on his bike. He completed the stage and was in so much pain that he collapsed at the finish line and had to have his boots cut off of him because he couldn't do it.
That's
My
sick.
boots, please spare my boots.
That's insane.
Boot cutter.
Boot cutter.
So in 1992, because of those injuries, he decided to make the leap to driving cars and join the Mitsubishi team.
Good decision.
Worst teams to join. That's a good one. In doing so, he became the first person to win Dakar on 2 wheels and on 4 wheels. By 1995, the name Oriol was practically synonymous with Paris-Dakar and became director of the race until 2004.
I'm thinking maybe I do 5 wheels next year.
Maybe I do 5, 6, 7, 8, sky's the limit. Maybe you call me God now. The 1990s also featured the emergence of 2 new Paris-Dakar legends, Jutta Kleinschmidt and Stefan Peterhansel. Jutta Kleinschmidt first competed in 1988 on a motorcycle before switching to a car in 1994. In 1997, the year Titanic came out and Biggie Smalls died, she became the first woman to win a stage. And in 2001, never forget, Yuta became the first and to date only woman to win the Paris-Dakar.
Wow.
That's cool.
Frenchman Stefan Peter Hansel made his debut also at the 1988 Paris-Dakar, riding for Yamaha at the tender age of 22. And what a tender age it was. Hey, little Stefan, is daddy home? 3 short years later, Peter Hansel would begin his reign as the most dominant racer in the history of Paris-Dakar. In 1991, riding a Yamaha YZE 750T, Peter Hansel won his first of 6 titles in 8 years.
Wow.
After conquering motorcycles, he switched to the car class in 1999, the year of Woodstock 99. 5 years later, he joined Hubert.
You are correct.
Yeah, man. I'm freaking killing it with these
on
context,
it with the calendar.
historical context.
Crazy.
It's coming like rapid fire.
It's like, hey, you might not know that this is happening, but this, to put it into context for you, here's what else was happening in the world.
An event with the year in the name.
Hey, that was the only one. The rest of them were real. That's not my fault. That's what it was called. Woodstock 99. Relevant. 5 years later, he joined Hubert Auriol as one of 2 competitors to win the race on both 2 and 4 wheels.
Wow.
Peter Hansel would rack up more victories, records, and superlatives just as Paris-Dakar was entering a period of change.
Drink my blood.
Drink my blood, Falker. I'm Grimace.
In 2008, the first and to date only time in the race's history, Paris-Dakar was canceled.
Oh.
What was going on in 2008?
Yeah, Paris-Dakar. Why'd you get canceled?
In the days leading up to the race, 4 French tourists were murdered in Mauritania by Al-Qaeda-linked terrorists. This, plus direct threats against the race by terrorist groups, caused the cancellation and led to an entirely new location for what was becoming known as the Dakar.
Do you want to know a fun fact about Mauritania?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's where the word Moors comes from. You know, the Moors in Spain.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like Othello.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm.
Interesting. You learn something every day on here on Past Gas, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Okay, so the new setting for this race was across the Atlantic Ocean. That's right. We're going to the new world, baby. From 2009 to 2019, the Dakar was actually held in South America.
I did not know this.
Yeah, where competitors traded the threat of heat exhaustion in the desert for the dangers of altitude sickness in the Andes Mountains, Joe.
Which would you rather?
I'd rather be in the
Heat.
mountains.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'd do terribly up at high altitude.
Why? Because you smoke?
No, I just like get really bad headaches.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
think
bought
would
you
do
oxygen
altitude.
last time we were at altitude.
Really?
You did.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was marginal.
It was kind of a novelty.
Yeah.
It was a novelty oxygen.
It was cool though. I felt, yeah. It was like flavored too.
I think it was bubblegum, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Ew.
It was like Sex on the Beach. I don't know. It's like, where'd you find this?
Yeah. What
well,
kind of store did you buy that from?
We were in Colorado
Yeah.
and we were driving through like a lot of mountains and
Yeah.
at some of the trailheads, a lot of the gas stations and stuff in the area would sell just like cans of oxygen.
Yeah.
So they had flavors.
Yeah.
I got mint. I got Nolan bubblegum.
So anyway, they're in the Andes. Throughout this period, Stefan Peter Hansel continued his utter domination. He won 4 times, twice driving for Mini and twice driving for Peugeot. But you can take the Dakar out of the desert, but you can't keep Dakar out of the desert for too long, okay?
Uh-huh.
Beginning in 2020, the rally moved to Saudi Arabia. In 2021, to cap off his amazing career, Peter Hansel, driving for Mini, won his 14th Dakar title and his 8th in the car class, and in the process, he became the only competitor to have won the Dakar on 3 continents: Africa, South America, and with Saudi Arabia in Asia.
That's cool. I think a Mini would be really fun to do the Dakar rally in.
The Dakar minis.
Well, they're like
really
these
cool.
huge monsters, basically. You should check it out.
Mini monsters?
Yeah, check out Mini Dakar car. They're like these.
They're like really famous.
I mean, it was like a countryman or a clubman or something.
Club-
Yeah, I think
man.
so. Yeah, Clubman with like off-road. It looks like
still
a
small.
short trophy truck basically with
Yeah.
a mini body on top, but it's pretty dope.
It would
They
be
all-wheel
fun.
drive, I assume. Or
Oh, yeah.
Listening to Oasis while you're driving
Yeah.
in Saudi Arabia.
They're sick.
From 182 competitors in the initial running, Dakar boasted over 1,000 competitors for its 2023 running in Saudi Arabia. In its current iteration, the rally has between 10 to 15 stages and is generally between 4 to 5,000 miles in length.
Jeez.
From its initial 2 classes of car and motorcycles, Dakar now offers 5 main categories: motorcycles, motorcycles with 4 wheels, cars, trucks, quads, and side-by-sides.
Those things are
You
nuts.
don't like side by sides?
No,
Why?
because nobody who doesn't have one likes them. They tear up the trail. Off-road guys don't like side-by-sides.
I think they're kind of cool.
They're fun as hell. It's like a
They're
roller
fun.
coaster that you drive.
They're
It's
fun, but
crazy.
they tear up the trail, and everyone has
Yeah.
one, and they rip all over, and they're just generally, they got a bad rep for being rude.
I mean, if you're in the desert, though, no
Well-
one's going to be like, my sand moved.
Yeah, but I see what James is saying. Like in America, it's like traditionally, like people who go off-roading, you have to like build your Jeep out. You
Yeah.
have to like outfit
Side by side's
it.
like a.
It's kind of
you
it's
buy
like it's
it
more
and
it's a
good.
dedication kind of thing. Like
Right.
you make your rig, but
Yeah.
then these side by sides are a lot cheaper to make or like buy,
Yeah.
and they're incredibly capable. So you can just like buy your way into the scene. I get
and
why
you
people
don't slowly get into the scene where like you learn the etiquette
Right.
of it.
It's
So
just
like you
like-
just have side by side people just like ripping all over the place, being dangerous.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like
And
it's
it's
like the off-road version of like buying a boat, you know?
right. Yeah. It's
just
just
show up
kind
to
of
the
like
lake and just-
yokels. It's like you're kind of ruining this.
It's like Tesla Model 3 owners.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And they also make the trail like
Oh, that's
not-
a bummer.
Yeah.
Okay, I take back my endorsement.
No, they're fun though.
But
don't
their fun
apologize.
is-
they're
their
fun.
fun
as
Oh,
is
hell.
come on. Now you're
Their fun is
switching
up.
it up.
Their fun
Come
is off.
on.
Their fun is off. Just you should learn the rules of the road
Yes.
Yeah.
or
Just
the off-road.
Rule, yeah.
Each vehicle can have 1 to 3 participants, not including support crew. Despite all the technological advancements that have come in the past 4 decades, the car still is imbued with its spirit of man versus nature. Vehicles now have GPS, and the specific route is given to the competitors in the form of a digital road book just 15 minutes before the beginning of a stage. That's sick.
That's-
Very cool.
Racers must follow the laid out course, despite the fact that wind and sand can lay waste to the markings organizers have set up. And they must get within 10 meters of waypoints in order to digitally validate that they're staying true to the course or they face penalties. That's sick.
It's pretty cool how they do it.
Also, in the vein of keeping the Dakar closest to Sabine's initial vision, there's the Malamoto class, now called the original by Motul class.
Okay.
This is a motorcycle class in which riders must maintain and repair their own machinery without the help of a factory team. It's also incumbent on the riders to carry their own food and tent with them. It's simultaneously the most difficult and most affordable class to compete in.
Did Carlos
so crazy.
Sainz Sr. ever do Dakar?
Oh yeah. I mean, we could talk
yeah.
about it. He actually got injured this year racing in it.
Oh, no.
His car went like kind of almost endoed
Yeah.
going over a jump, and it like broke a vertebrae in his back.
Jeez, he domed himself. Fuck,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I actually watched a lot of Dakar this year, because they had highlights online, and it's so cool. Like depending on what time you start, how the course changes, because like you kind of want to be hang back a little bit from the start, because the people that start on the dunes have no direction of where to go, but
Yeah.
after a few cars go by, the course starts to kind of like beat in to the
yeah.
dunes and pack in as well, like the sand.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. Keep up with the race, guys, because like they make it easy
It's
to watch
sick.
the highlights, and it's very cool just to watch these things. There's so many different
Yeah.
classes, so many different kinds of cars. There's like a Dakar classic class where people race stuff from the 70s and 80s and 90s
Oh, I
into
love that.
vintage. Like
Yeah.
Sick.
it's so cool, man.
Well, it's not all rosy, Nolan.
No, it's
There
not,
are
Joe.
some criticisms.
That's right. The Dakar has been criticized for a variety of reasons, Joe. The most common being how dangerous it is and the sheer number of deaths. Since its inception, 32 competitors have died as a result of the Dakar. Most deaths in Dakar are a result of accidents and collisions,
obviously, be it with other vehicles or spectators. However, in 1991, Charles Cabane, a French driver of the support truck from the Citroën team, he was shot, with his death being attributed to the ongoing conflict between Tuareg rebels and the Malian military. In 1996, Laurent Guéhin, a support truck driver for Citroën, was killed as a result of an intra-country conflict. Drivers were warned to stay close to the main route because of old landmines planted during a conflict between the Moroccan army and the Polisario Front rebels. Laurent Guéhin's truck was off the main route when it hit a landmine, killing him instantly. That's a bad way to go, dude.
Yeah.
Of course, participants in the Dakar knowingly entered into a dangerous situation. But you're going through all these countries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to keep like your kind of invincible racer kind of mindset. You got to leave that at the door because you're you're not in your country. You're going through a place you don't know.
Right.
In addition to the competitors' deaths, there have been an astounding 46 deaths of spectators or officials. 1988 provided a particularly horrific example. A 10-year-old Malian girl was killed by a driver while crossing the road, and a Mauritanian mother and child were killed when a media vehicle crashed into a group of bystanders.
Yeesh.
Aside from high-end business, many of the communities that the race goes through claim to have seen little benefit from the race. And the costs of poor air quality from dust kick-up, yet alone innocent deaths, make for a complicated relationship. It doesn't help that the natural beauty that often makes for the best aesthetic landscape is also among the Earth's most fragile and the least prepared for hundreds of vehicles driving over it at high speed. When the race took place in South America, Chilean archaeologists, environmental activists, and indigenous groups tried unsuccessfully to block it from occurring. This effort was in part due to a 2011 study done by the Chilean government that showed nearly half of the country's ancient sites had been damaged by some capacity from the race.
That's messed up.
That's not cool at all. And now that the race has seemingly found a new home in Saudi Arabia, criticism is largely centered on Saudi Arabia's poor record on human rights and subsequent attempts at sports washing.
That's the thing with Saudi Arabia is like they got a lot of money, so they're bringing a lot of attention and sports and stuff to them.
They want to become the entertainment center of the world. That's kind of their
Vegas
plans.
of the Middle East.
Yes, so that's why they're investing. With the PGA, the FIA, they have a large investment in McLaren, the F1 team. Paris-Dakar Rally, obviously. They got who's the soccer player they hired?
They were going to get Messi, but Messi signed to Miami.
Ronaldo, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ronaldo's over there playing for them. They're spending billions of dollars to try to clean their image by making everyone just watch the sports that they produce now, basically. All right, so stunning, deadly, and unable to be killed itself, Dakar continues, having held its 45th edition in 2023. The gorgeous vistas of remote locations as the stage for a man vs. nature battle royale continue to call competitors and fans alike. The modernization of the race continues to serve Thierry Sabine's dual mandate of, quote,
a challenge for those who go, a dream for those who stay behind.
For those who stay behind, the dream is more accessible than ever, with more media coverage of the entire event available on cable and streaming services every year. As for those who go, the race may have left Africa, but the spirit of Dakar perseveres in both its name and its punishing, hellish terrain that still manages to push the needle of human endurance well into the red.
I want to do Dakar. Not really. But
I want to push my life up into that rev limiter.
I gotta push the needle. That's the rev limiter that I'm bouncing off of constantly. That's sick. We finally did it, and I was not disappointed. What a fun story, and it's as cool as I thought it would be. We got listener mail. Hi, guys. My name is Porter, but my friends call me Clay.
All right, Clay.
Okay. I'm from Michigan, and I just wanted to say that I am a huge fan. I've listened to almost every episode of Past Guest, starting from June of last year. I'm a freshman in high school, and I have hyper-fixated on cars since I was 4. I was hoping to ask if you guys could do an episode on the story of Don the Snake Prudhomme and Tom the Mongoose McEwen.
We did that,
dude.
Go back. We before June of last year, we did a lot of.
Keep scrolling on your
scrolling,
podcast
dude.
app.
Keep scrolling.
Yeah, it's there. We did it.
But thank you for being a fan, though.
Thanks for being a fan. And honestly, that's good news because now you can just go listen to it. Peace, love, and horsepower, Porter. P.S. Michigan declares war on the Wink Wink Nation.
Uh-oh.
What?
Uh-oh.
You just snuck that in there. Postscript.
Wow.
Are you going to stand for that?
I don't have beef with Michigan. Okay.
Oh, now you do.
Porter is.
We could be stronger together, and we could fight Minnesota.
dude.
But you playing?
Yeah, well, speaking of Wink Wink Nation, just a reminder, we've got new Wink Wink Nation shirts, which are very cool. We've got the poster with the same design for the Wink Wink Nation. We've got little Wink Wink Nation stickers and a bunch of stickers, merchandise that you can buy. It's awesome. Go check it out at donutmedia.com. Make sure you get yourself some. Son?
And we'll see you guys next week with another bonkers recounting of automotive history. Follow me at James Pumphrey on all social media. Follow Nolan at Nolan J. Sykes. Follow Joe at Joe G. Weber on Threads.
And Clay or Potter or whatever your name is.
Porter.
You unfollow me.
Yeah, unfollow Joe Porter, but double follow me. That would be an unfollow.
See you next time.